I think I didn't realize how many people liked me at work. Like, I always see people as like, hey, how are you? You know, you pass in the hall. But the amount of people that sent messages to me while I was out with cancer, I couldn't believe that many people cared about me. I was grateful for that feeling, and I thought, I need to keep on doing what I need to do to be there and be that smile for somebody that doesn't always get them. Because then, if somebody got sick or had a problem and they had nobody in their life, I hope they would know they could reach out to me. It was a normal day because I went for a checkup. No problems, no concern. I felt fine, didn't have a lump. Some people say, oh, I thought I felt something. No, it was just a checkup. Well, I got a phone call on my cell phone, and I had parents that were very upset because their child lost reassignment privilege. So they were sitting in front of me a couple feet away, and I could hear them saying, your test results are positive. You do have cancer. I got that phone call here and I had to wait for all those parents to leave. I called my husband and said, Chris, I have cancer. I was like, we got to go to a cancer center. They're going to tell us about it. He said, all right, just remind me. And he hung up. But when I met him, he was taking care of his mother with cancer. And I saw him changing grown up diapers and taking his mom to every treatment. It never fazed him. He lost his mom and dad to cancer. So cancer didn't scare him. It was, what do we got to do? And I'm grateful for his strength. And I would have to remind myself it's cancer, but I never was afraid of it because I have, my God is stronger than any cancer there is. My church is like a huge prayer warrior. So we have a prayer hotline we call, and then the whole church is praying. And it's so does Dr. Sanders. She's got prayer line. So I'll text her and say, hey, put me on your prayer list. I have cancer. She wears hats, and I always get under her hat and say I'm under her halo. It's people like Dr. Sanders and my friends at church because they are prayer warriors. It wasn't just me praying; it was a whole lot of people praying. So that's stronger than medicine to me. I have so many friends at work. I have such a great prayer warriors, and even my boss, Dr. Gill's, a call or a text away if you need something. And she said, "This too shall pass." And we would pray, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm over. I'm strong again. I will get through it." And so that's even now with recovery. I'm recovering great. I came back to work soon as possible, and went yesterday, and now they're going to schedule my knee replacement. So I'm so excited about that because I'm going to be a new person by the new year, be able to walk without pain and know that I am, as my pathology report said, it was clean and clear. And I thought, what a great way to be, clean and clear. My brother died of cancer. I have a lot of cancer in my family, unfortunately, but we dealt with it. And we're living to tell about it and counting our blessings. But we have lost too many friends, even my friends here in Leon County schools that have had cancer. And I lost a dear friend 2 years ago to breast cancer. So I always think if somebody would have gone a little bit sooner, then you could have found out early like I did. You hear about friends that didn't catch it early enough and they lost their life to cancer. I thought, God, if I could tell one person, and even telling my friends that I work with here, 2 people came to me and said, well, I scheduled my mammogram because of you. And I was like, if I could have saved one of their lives, it was all worth it to tell somebody about this. Lord, you got to get me through this. But I thought, well, he knew it before I did, so he's got me. I'm good. And I never did have that moment. Even though I'm the baby of 7 brothers and sisters, there's nobody here. We text or talk every day or every couple days. I had to text my sisters, one who had breast cancer, and say, I have cancer. I'll talk to you about it later. And they're immediately calling, what? You have cancer? Are you okay? What's happening? And I told so many friends and family that I had cancer through a text because it was such a busy time of year with work. I didn't have that time to take off and just talk. We had parents waiting in line to get enrolled and parents waiting in line to change schools. Even when they said, we're going to have surgery and you're going to need a double mastectomy, I'm like, I don't have time for cancer. School starts on August 11th. And they said, okay, August 12th, we'll do your double mastectomy. I'm like, okay, that was fine by me. So I got to take one of my grandkids to school at that first day of school. And then I was good. And I had it on the second day of school. But at least I felt some peace. My work mind was at peace a little because I thought, well, all the kids are in school that I could help.
What is it that you enjoy doing the most?
Seeing people. I love that. I have routines who you see before you get to work, seeing the kids when I drop grandkids off at school. Then I get to work and you count on the same people coming up and seeing you. And I work with a couple different departments, so I try to go around and say hi to everybody when I get here. And then the registrars from the schools and some principals, I look forward to those calls. And even sometimes when I don't hear from them, I call and say, were you okay today? And they didn't realize that I counted on that. So even the day they called me and said I have cancer, I'm like, hold on. And I'm trying to take care of somebody else's problems, trying to help them with whatever they're here for. They're just sitting in my chair waiting for me to get off the personal phone call. And I think this time with him, he's taught me, you need to take care of you. And then when you're done, then you can go help somebody. That was not my character. I'm not used to that. You know, whether it's, you know, we help people when we can. And we've always done that. Even one of my favorite principals, Jimbo Jackson, he could text me that somebody at school didn't have clothes that wore the same clothes for 2 days. That afternoon, he was picking clothes off my porch because I know friends in church that have kids their size. I know friends in my life that have kids, and they're all so caring and giving. So I always worried about everybody else, and I never put me first. And he made me do that. Like when I would say, well, let me see what let me call. They're calling. Let me just talk to them. And he's like, no, you can call them when you feel better. And I felt guilty about that. I just laid there and I'd hear people knock at the door and he would say, nope, visiting hours are over. And he wouldn't let even my grandkids in the room. And my daughter would come by and she's like, can I just say hey to her? And he's like, don't speak to her. And he didn't want me to wait because that was the most sleep I got in years because I'm not a sleeper. So it was great. I stayed in bed 22 hours a day. And he kept people away from me. So he was such a protector, and he's a great chef. And so he took great care of me. And that made us so much closer because how I stay busy and it's work all the time and get off work and go home and I'll log in and or catch up reading emails or something. He is a workaholic on outside stuff, and he just retired, so he stays busy working on broken fences that have been broken 20 years. Now he's all of a sudden gonna fix everything. And so we stay busy. We don't have time for it. And that was probably good. I always try to keep a smile on because even if I don't feel like smiling, I try to always have a smile for somebody that may need one more than me. I try to keep my faith over everything I'm doing. If somebody makes me mad, and sometimes the job that we have, we deal with some people that are not very happy when we see them, but I also know how life is. They probably are dealing with a lot that I don't see them coming in my office, but I want to try to get to the where I could help with whatever they're mad about. So I think if I had to describe me, I would hope somebody would say, she's always nice. I always try to bring the niceness out of people, and I try to let them know I understand, but don't yell at me. I want to help you. I'm here to help, but let's not yell because I'm not yelling at you or talking mean. So can we do this together? And sometimes some of the worst situations I've dealt with, we've made friends. I'm never alone with God has always got my back. Always. I haven't cried once finding out I had cancer. I've had many nights of crying, dealing with grown up kids or grandkids, what they're dealing with. That I'm not saying I don't cry. I've cried till you came back to work the next day and your face is swollen, and you can't help make things better for others. Sometimes it's some problems you can't solve, but and I could hear them saying, your test results are positive. You do have cancer. And I'm trying to tell that person just a minute because I hear her say, I'm trying to tell her about this. I don't have time. She's on a personal phone call. And I wanted so bad to say, I have cancer. And I was like, oh, I do. Oh, well, okay. I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it. But I didn't have that lifetime moment to say, I have cancer. Oh, what will happen? It was parents waiting to see me because it was in July and they're getting ready for school and maybe it's not what they planned. So I never had a moment alone with cancer and myself to deal with it. And in hindsight, that was probably good because that might have been like, oh, I have cancer. But it wasn't like that. I just had to go to my next parent. And I was like, I have cancer. And right then, Amy walked in when I was saying that, and I thought she instantly started crying and walked out. And I was like, I I wasn't realizing what I was saying was so heavy because it's like, I'm hungry. I want some tacos for lunch, and I have cancer. Like it never hit me. It was that bad until you hear about friends that didn't catch it early enough and they lost their life to cancer. I thought, God, if I could tell one person, and even telling my friends that I work with here, 2 people came to me and said, well, I scheduled my mammogram because of you. And I was like, if I could have saved one of their lives, it was all worth it to tell somebody about this. And I have a privilege of working with some powerful prayer warriors. Have you ever met Dr. Sanders? She is in my building, and you can't even, if your smile is turned upside down, she's like, oh, baby, we're going to pray about this. And she'll know it. She pops in because I'm on the way to the ladies' room. And when she comes by, I have such a great prayer warriors. And even my boss, I could call her. I've probably never had to pay a therapist because I've told her every problem I've ever had. And I've called her crying my eyes out about my grandkids. And I was worried about safety or worried about something happening with them. I'd cry. She said, "This too shall pass," and we would pray. And I'm like, "Okay, I'm over. I'm strong again. I will get through it." And we
Your boss is
Dr. Michelle Gale. She always knows the right thing to say. She always smooths every feather. Like, I can't. We're not going to talk about this right now, but I just want you to think about it and pray on it. And I'm going to call you back when I get out of the meeting. I'm going to call you back. Well, then I've prayed on it. I'm like, "I'm good. We're good." And she would still say, "This is what we're going to do. Why don't you do this or that?" Well, she's the age of being a sister to me, but she has that motherly love. Like, I don't want to say she's like a mom because she don't want to hear that because we're pretty close in age. But I'm very close to my sisters, and but the problem is they're all over. They're in North Carolina, Pennsylvania, one's in Philadelphia, they're all over. So I don't get that hug and that. I don't want to bother them with something that's little, but I like it'll be over. Just let me deal with something else, and the problem will go away. But sometimes she gives that motherly advice, but then even when I've had people that I needed her support as a boss, and they're yelling and they're mad, they don't seem to talk to her that way because she has a way of putting them respectfully in their place. I'm here to listen, but you can't talk to me that way. And I probably use that line that I've heard from her. And another one that I use when I'm dealing with people: "Let me help you manage your expectations." In other words, you're not going to get that what you want, but she'll help you with a manage another expectation to get what you need. And I think the world of her.